Let's decode the story of Jesus calling Lazarus out of the tomb. Spiritually, Lazarus represents a soul buried under layers of identity loss. And Jesus calling him forth is the blueprint for awakening from spiritual sleep, ego death, and the paralysis of forgotten identity. This is one of the clearest symbolic teachings on awakening, identity restoration, breaking mental tombs, leaving dead versions of yourself, removing ego grave clothes, hearing the divine voice from within. Let's decode it step by step. Lazarus represents the sleeping soul. Lazarus is not just a man, he symbolizes the inner self, the true identity, the divine part of you, the Christ consciousness asleep within, the spiritual nature buried under years of programming. Beautiful calligraphy writing Lazarus and God has helped appears on aged parchment. The presenter's hands trace the words gently, with warm candlelight illuminating the scene. His name Lazarus means God has helped. Symbolically, identity is never truly lost, only asleep. Help has always been present, you just forgot. Lazarus is the part of you that died under religion, trauma, ego, shame, fear, forgetfulness. This is the soul Jesus awakens. Lazarus is dead. Death is total forgetfulness of identity. Death in Scripture is never physical in symbolic readings. It represents unconsciousness, blindness, amnesia of your divine nature. The presenter returns on screen in her study, now with more dramatic lighting. She holds an open Bible, her expression conveying deep understanding of the spiritual truth she's revealing. In Genesis, when God said, "In the day you eat of it, you shall surely die," Adam did not drop dead. He fell into unconsciousness. Death equals forgetting your origin. So when Jesus says, Lazarus is dead, he is saying, your true identity has been buried under layers of illusion. The tomb represents the mind conditioned by ego. The tomb is the symbolic space where we place suppressed emotions, buried identity, abandoned dreams, forgotten spiritual awareness. Visual metaphor of hands pressed against glass or stone, representing being trapped. The lighting creates patterns of shadow and light, symbolizing the prison of limited thinking. Tombs represent the unconscious mind, mental blindness, the belief that this is all you are, the box you placed yourself in, the limitations you accepted. When Jesus arrives at the tomb, he is confronting the internal prison where the soul has been trapped. He has been dead 4 days, represents the completion of forgetfulness. 4 in Scripture represents completion in the natural realm. 4 directions, 4 seasons, 4 elements. The presenter appears again, her expression conveying the gravity of complete spiritual forgetfulness. The lighting is more subdued, representing the depth of spiritual sleep. So 4 days dead means identity was fully buried in the physical experience. The person has become fully identified with ego, completely unaware of their divinity, convinced that this human life is the whole story. This is the final stage of spiritual sleep. Jesus weeps. Identity mourns. When you forget who you are, this is one of the most beautiful symbols. Jesus wept. Why? Because Christ mourns every moment you believe you are less than divine. Christ is not crying for Lazarus the man. Christ is grieving the human condition, the pain of forgetfulness, the weight of illusion, the suffering caused by ego. This shows awakening is not judgment. It's compassion for your unconsciousness. Roll away the stone. Remove the blockages that keep you asleep. The stone represents belief systems, religious programming, mental barriers, trauma walls, emotional numbness, fear, ego defenses. Jesus doesn't roll it himself. He tells them to roll it. Why? Because truth can call you forth, but you must remove what is blocking the entrance. Awakening requires participation. The stone is the barrier between you and your identity. Lazarus, come forth. The call to awaken. This is not a resurrection command. It is a wake-up call. It is Christ speaking to the divine nature within you. Awaken. Remember. Step out of the identity that buried you. Leave the tomb of forgetfulness. Return to your true self. The call is personal. He says Lazarus by name. Identity calls identity. Christ calls the Christ within you. This is the moment you awaken from spiritual sleep, ego illusion, fear-based thinking, religious blindness, trauma identity. Come forth, exit the mental tomb. Lazarus comes out bound. Awakening happens before full freedom. Notice something powerful. Lazarus emerges, but still wrapped in grave clothes. Symbolically, you can awaken and still have old patterns, old beliefs, old habits, old wounds, old mindsets, ego residue. Awakening is immediate, but transformation is a process. You step out of the tomb first, then remove the wrappings. Religion told you you must be fully healed to walk with God. Christ shows you you walk first. Healing happens as you go. Unbind him and let him go. Community helps remove ego layers. Jesus does not remove the grave clothes. He instructs others to do it. Awakening happens alone, but transformation happens through relationship. People are assigned to help you remove lies, fear, guilt, trauma, shame, false identity. The grave clothes, everything ego wrapped around you. Community helps strip away what the tomb created. You don't peel the grave clothes alone. Hands meet hands. Eyes meet eyes. Breath meets breath. Compassion becomes scissors. Presence becomes light. In safe company, the old wrappings loosen. Shame softens, fear thins, lies fall like dust. Community is the mirror where your name echoes back. They remember for you when you forget. They hold space while your heart relearns its rhythm. They say, "You're not your wounds," and the fabric of the tomb loses its purpose. A quiet circle. Each person holds one thread. Together they weave a luminous shawl. And the final revelation? It isn't far away. It isn't later. It is this. You were never separated. The Christ within you is the light within all. Awakening is personal. Freedom is communal. Being is one. Walk as the one who remembers. Let love keep calling your name. Unbound, you become a door. Others pass through. The story ends where it began, not with death, but with recognition. Not with a miracle to watch, but a life to live. Together, awake, in light. Final revelation. Lazarus is you. This is the real teaching. You are Lazarus. Your identity has been buried. Your soul has been wrapped in ego. Your divine nature has been forgotten. Christ, the divine essence within, stands at the entrance of your internal tomb and calls, "Come forth." Lazarus represents your rebirth, your awakening, your return to truth, your emergence from illusion. The miracle is not physical resurrection, it is spiritual awakening. Lazarus walking out is you remembering, "I was never dead, I was only asleep. My identity was waiting beneath the ego. Christ in me is the voice calling me back. This body is only the vessel. I am divinity expressing through humanity." The story of Lazarus is the story of every awakened soul. Christ calls, you awaken. The stone rolls. The false identity falls away, and you finally stand as your true self.